Black women, no doubt about that. But we should also invest in the entire community as a whole. Uh, with that being said, Newstoter, man, I'm ready to hear what these articles are about. And good to see you, Ray, and Sister Trouble down there. Yeah, she here to bring that trouble, and Sister Tony, and I am Money, B-Rock. Good to see your original blood. Good to see everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm not going to even waste any more time. I see our people filtering in. I know a lot of our people, we saw the topic and stuff. They was like, well, I wonder what this is going to be about here tonight. So, like I said, we're not trying to start no gender war. We just simply up here, we're going to have a nice conversation, dialogue. DJ, I sent you the co-host. I don't know if you may be doing something right now, but when you get a chance, go ahead and accept it. Before I go ahead and get to the hands, y'all, I want to go ahead and start touching up on some of these articles real quick. Because with anything up in the Newstoter space, we like to bring the actual bring our receipts, bring the paper trail as well too. So let me go ahead. I want to start off with the Goldman Sachs because this is recent. You know, this is from Black Enterprise. All these articles up in the Jumbotron as well too. So let me go ahead. Goldman Sachs announces $2.1 billion investment with 1 million Black women initiative. Goldman Sachs is investing in Black women-owned business with a program that will take their business to the next level. CNBC reports the Global Investment Bank will invest $2.1 billion into businesses and nonprofits with the firm's 1 million Black women initiative started in 2021. 1 million Black women was created to positively impact 1 million Black women by 2030. Goldman Sachs has committed $10 billion to an investment capital and $100 million and philanthropy capital, focusing on access to capital, affordable housing, healthcare, education, job creation, workforce advancement, digital connectivity, and financial health. Global head of corporate engagement and president of Goldman Sachs Foundation, Ashay Pompey, said, "This is the first step towards a much bigger plan. Turbo boosting Black women entrepreneurs is a key part of the work we do," Pompey said. "We know they create jobs. When a Black woman entrepreneur is able to grow her business, she employs Black people in the community. She's a leader in the community. She mentors individuals in that community. The ripple effect of investing in a Black woman entrepreneur is tremendous. The 1 million Black Women's Advisory Council already has some heavy hitters sitting at the table. Earlier this week, members such as President Barack Obama and Obama Foundation CEO Valerie Jarrett, former Secretary of State Condoleezza Rice, and actress, producer Issa Rae met to announce how this initiative would provide $23 million in capital access to close to 215,000 Black women. When Black women succeed, America succeed, Jared says. According to Shine My Crown, you bet on Black women. That is a good bet. Goldman Sachs recognizes that Black women have a track record of delivering. Research by economics shows the best way to close the gap in racial wealth is by investing in Black women. That article, like I say, is from Goldman Sachs. That's a recent article. Some of the articles I'm going to touch up on are going to be at the actual time of the pandemic. They may be a year or two old, but some of them are going to be current as well too. That's from Goldman Sachs. I want to get on JP Morgan and Chase as well too, real quick. And we're going to get to the hands, y'all. We just want to go ahead and touch up on these articles real quick. This is also in the actual Jumbotron. From Aldi News, JP Morgan Chase commits $30 million to help Black Latino women close wealth gap. JP Morgan is remaining committed to his goal of creating innovative and sustainable ways to advance equity in U.S. communities. On January 25th, the firm announced a new $30 million commitment designed to help Black and Latino women address racial and gender wealth gaps. One of the largest single investments the firm has made towards Black and Latino women. To help address the challenges faced by Black and Latino women across the U.S., we are investing in collaborations drawing on the strengths of public and private sectors to develop and test innovative and sustainable solutions. We know taking on these monumental issues will require diversity of perspectives, areas of expertise, skill set. Demetrios Martinez, global head of corporate responsibility at JP Morgan Chase and Company, in a press release. As part of JP Morgan Chase commitment, 6 organizations across the U.S. will receive $5 million each in Black and Latino women-led organization commitments to tackle issues such as financial health, coaching, entrepreneurship, housing stability, and career support. 2 of the winners announced by JP Morgan Chase was Martha's Table and the Latino Economic Development Center of Washington, D.C. These 2 collaborators are especially critical given the many disparities that Black and Latino women face, many of which were worsened by the COVID-19 pandemic in the Washington region. The majority of the early child care educators are Black and Latino women, but only one-fifth of all early childhood educators in the region have a bachelor's degree. With the Advancing Early Education Collaborative, the goal is to expand across to post-secondary education through fully funded scholarships and certification opportunities, provide services such as education and financial coaching, tech access, professional development, stipends for childcare and transportation. Our work is driven by our belief that every Washingtonian deserves the opportunity to thrive, said Kim R. Ford, president and CEO of Martha's Table, in a statement. We're deeply grateful to J.P. Morgan Chase and to our outstanding peers in the Advancing Early Education Collaborative for their partnerships. Together, we will foster a strong workforce of talented early educators as well as an educational system that reflects the true value of this critical profession. That is from J.P. Morgan Chase. Real quick, I want to touch up on Amazon as well too. From Amazon, the Fearless Fund. This is also from Aldi News, and it's also in the Jumbotron as well too. Amazon, the Fearless Fund, offer $1 million in grants for Black women entrepreneurs. There's a new initiative formed by Amazon and Fearless Foundation that is targeting women entrepreneurs with grants between $10,000 and $20,000. The total amount of the funds for the program is $1 million. It also includes an enrollment in Amazon's Black Business Accelerator (BBA), a program dedicated to providing growth opportunities for Black-owned companies that sell through Amazon. And total 75 products from the business owned by Black women will benefit and receive promotion. Arian Simone, co-founder and general partner of Fearless Fund, noted, "We're excited to enroll business grant recipients in Amazon's Black Business Accelerator, giving each brand access to an unparalleled network of mentors that will allow them to reach their professional goals." The Fearless Foundation, the philanthropic arm of the Fearless Fund, the first venture capital funds created by women of color for women of color, said its multi-phase grant program will bolster proprietary consumer products of Black women, marking a significant opportunity for greater representation in retail, as only 6% of U.S. retail businesses are Black-owned, despite 14% of U.S. population being Black, based on the 2020 data. As part of a 4-year, $150 million commitment made in 2021, the program is designed to help generate sustainable growth in Black-owned retail business by providing access to capital, business guidance, mentorship, and marketing support. Mission-driven partnerships are critical to stimulating economic growth. We're excited to partner with Fearless Fund to support 75 incredible Black women entrepreneurs in achieving their dreams. By participating in Amazon's Black Business Accelerator, founders will access a suite of resources, including financial assistance, business education and coaching, and marketing support, said Danielle Cersei Jones, director and head of Amazon's Black Business Accelerator. Developed with the guidance from Black sales associate mentors and advisors, the BBA helps grow Black-owned businesses by providing access to a suite of benefits and resources tailored to meet their unique needs and assist Black-owned business owners to succeed as sellers on the Amazon Marketplace. It is the arm of the Fearless Fund, a nonprofit with the mission to advancing the people of color by reducing racial inequalities and providing access to capital through strategic partnership, grant programs, educational programs, and college scholarships. The Fearless Foundation creates opportunities to encourage and assist those in need of equitable and sustainable support. We believe we knock down barriers for Black-owned business through these learnings, and we unlock the door for all small businesses to thrive. We stand firm in our vision to target systematic barriers and leverage our entire community to create sustainable pathways to equity that build generational wealth, not only for Black-owned business and Black women-owned business, but all underserved business, said Cersei Jones. All right. Real quick, I want to also touch up on this from Visa as well, too. Give me 1 second while I find this from Visa. This is also up in the actual Jumbotron as well, too. 10,000 Visa grants for Black women entrepreneurs. This was back in 2020 during the pandemic, but I wanted to go ahead and include this tonight as well, too. Visa partner with iFund Women is offering $100,000 in grants for Black women-owned business across the U.S. The grants will help provide an opportunity for Black women entrepreneurs to enhance their business while continuing to offer much-needed services to local communities. Visa is devoted to helping Black women business owners with access to funding, coaching, and connections needed to grow their businesses during the COVID-19. The program will award 10 recipients $10,000 grant plus a 1-year iFund annual coaching membership. Applications were being accepted through July 30th to 2020. To qualify for this program, you had to be a Black woman-owned business, must be located in the U.S., must have a minimal annual revenue of $24K or more, must have been in business 2+ years or more, must be a business that has a product or service in the marketplace, must be a growing business, must be considered a product or service, B2C, must have compelling digital presence and supporting media. So that was Visa. So just from what we've covered so far, we covered quite a few of corporate America, from Amazon to JP Morgan to Visa to Goldman Sachs. Let me cover this last one real quick, and then we'll go ahead and we'll get to the hands. Matter of fact, I'll go ahead and get to the hands right now because I know some of you guys want to speak, and then I'll go in and later on I'll go ahead and I'll hit the last article up, but I'll go ahead and get to the hands real quick. Is that Lanigris? That is Lanigris?
Yes. Hi.
Hey, how you doing? Go ahead and unmute your mic. You got it.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Good morning where I am. I just wanted to let you know that this is nothing but a smokescreen distraction to keep us away from advocating for reparations. Notice how they're throwing out crumbs to Black women, Black folks in particular, okay? All of the companies that you named have less than 5% of their workforce as Black folks, okay? And that includes Black men and Black women. I worked for Amazon for a period of time, and Amazon in 2018 settled out a discrimination lawsuit that involved Black women who were in upper management that were denied pay increases and pay raises and incentives. So there it is. A lot of Black women entrepreneurs, especially in my home state, have become fed up with being fed up. I mean, think about it. First of all, look, I was listening to the articles, and the trickback language in them, they use minorities. That doesn't necessarily mean Black people, okay? They use people of color. That's the new hot phrase. That doesn't necessarily mean Black people. And they're only offering, tens of thousands of dollars. All right? If you have a business, or you have a startup, or you've grown your business, you know $10,000, $20,000, $30,000, even $50,000 is just barely enough to open up or get a lease on a small business building someplace, or even a line of credit. Okay? And then they're making more promises than they can deliver. I mean, let's be realistic here. How many women will actually get that money? Or the people who have applied, how many of them actually got that money and used it and paid it forward? Okay, if you're an entrepreneur and you've been in the business world for quite some time, owning and operating a or more than one business, you've got a franchise, you know the franchise licensing fees are more than $10,000 to $20,000. Okay, I would consider it an insult from these companies that continuously insult Black professionals, men and women. I mean, come on, why would they just set up people to fail in this so-called feel-good measure where they're trotting out leaders who've done absolutely very little to none for Black folks? All right, you got Obama. You got Valerie Jarrett. She does not identify as Black, okay? All right? And this is nothing but posturing. And because those articles came out in 2020, they were politically posturing to the Black elite, okay? Hello. You know, you've got Black businessmen and women, entrepreneurs, and they're supposed to fall for this? Man, come on now. That's all I gotta say.
All right, thank you, sister. Not all of them came out in 2020. A couple of them did, but I get what you're saying, and I said that before when the space just started up, that Black women deserve they definitely deserve the money, and they deserve a heck of a lot more money than that as well too. I believe that this is also done as a way to create a wedge, and I understand what you're saying exactly too, to kind of get your mind off of reparations and other issues as well too. But I believe it's also used to create a wedge between black men and black women as well too. I believe that, like you said, the money, and you got Goldman Sachs, and they're giving, they talk about 2.1 billion, but you know, we know how much money Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan Chase, and Visa and Amazon and all these other, I mean, you're talking about Fortune 500 companies, you're talking about some of the richest companies on the face of the earth. So the little peanuts that they're talking about throwing black women, it's exactly that, peanuts. But I also do feel that, any little bit, as long as, I mean, if you're getting actual grants and it's coming your way, I tell any black woman to go ahead and take that money. My issue with this is that, corporate America and some of these other, especially right after the actual George Floyd murder, all of this stuff that people were talking about that they were going to do, in terms of helping the inner cities out and the urban leagues and this and that and all these urban areas and this and that. Well, George Floyd was a black man. And this goes even into the Black Lives Matter. Now, a lot after Black Lives Matter, a lot of these people were getting money and they were starting companies and this and that or whatever. Mind you, that the actual victims of these murders, these homicides, they were nothing put up for people like George Floyd and all the other black men that lost their lives to police violence, senseless murders. You didn't see any of this money really being allotted there. And also, we've seen a lot of companies and things of that nature also giving money to go ahead, start nonprofits and stuff like that. But you didn't see that money going to any of the black men. So my thing is this right here. Like I said, I have no issue with black women getting their money because you owed it, you deserve it, you should get it, and you should ask for way more. But also, we need to get some of that money as well too. Black men have nonprofits, they have organizations, and black men put into the system as well too. So black men are also deserving of this money. A lot of black men help pump billions of dollars into these corporate, to Visa and Amazon and all the rest of them as well too. So we definitely should be getting it. And like I said, at the height of the whole George Floyd thing, when they started, it was one thing to market the death of black men, to go ahead and get more and more access and more capital coming that way. But when it was time to actually go ahead and divvy that money up and give it to some black men and some black organizations, it was like null and void. Nobody was trying to hear that. So definitely, like I say, I definitely support any of these sisters. Hell, if y'all got $1 trillion, I wouldn't be mad at you. If you get $1 trillion and they can go ahead and pump $1 trillion into some of these black-owned businesses, I say more power to you. I say you need to go ahead and get as much as you can, because this country has destroyed black entrepreneurship and black business for as long as we can remember. But like I say, also black men cannot be left out this equation. When you leave black men out, then when all this nonsense about trying to repair and this and that and close a wage gap, that's just talk. You can't close a wage gap if you're going to take one person in the community and you're going to go ahead and you're going to put them up there and you're going to say, well, I'll give you some money. Well, what about the other people? Because we know most men in this country are homeless. And there's a whole hell of a lot of black men that's out there homeless, unemployed, can't find a job, got criminal records and everything else. So some of them have to go the entrepreneurship route just to be able to go ahead and feed themselves. So, if you're going to go ahead and you got black men start businesses up all the time. I believe that there's even more black men that have businesses than black women. I could be wrong, but I believe it's actually more black men. So, you have to cut a piece of that pie as well too. So, as our sisters always say, that we need to go ahead and protect them 100%. They're correct on that as well too. But as our sisters get some of this money from corporate America, they need to go ahead and voice their opinion and let corporate America know too, like, hey, to take the quote from Boys in the Hood, where Angela Bassett said, when the teacher said, when she asked her about Trey, it's like, yeah, Trey's going to live with his father. Say, oh, did you think we made babies on our own? So we definitely need to go ahead and get it like that. So, Original, you go ahead and unmute your mic.
All right, greetings, everyone. Peace, Black Power, and reparations. Reparation2023.com. Newstoter, what La Negra said is on point, but I'm looking at it from another perspective as well. Now, we always know how white people, they scheme and scam and the things that they like to do, especially when it affects black people, specifically the black family. Now, from my study of the ancient Kemetic society, now see the pharaoh would he could ascend to the throne, and he had to go through the line of the line of the woman. It was a matrilineal society, and so what I'm looking at is how you see these commercials that they have going on these days, where they showing all these interracial couples and this, that, and whatever. And so I'm kind of looking at how this just might be an extension of that now, because see, and as we know that the white boy has always been at war, with the black man. Hell, they even said themselves that you're not a man until you have slept with the black woman. Those are their words. So I'm looking at it from that standpoint, is that see how they always, how how they've made movies. Remember that movie Claudine, when Diane Carroll, she did not want to give up the welfare check. When who was it? I think it was James Earl Jones that played in it with her.
Yeah.
Cause that welfare check was a sign of security for her, and she was like, "Hold up, you asking me to go out here with you? And I don't know what you're gonna do, and I got to give up my check, and So
well, now on that movie, it was just as much him as well too. Like when they was talking about him staying there and coming in and buying gifts and having to basically get her off of welfare, he kind of was hesitant himself on that part as well too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So again, like you said, it's kind of creating that divide and conquer mentality, but I think it's pushing more. I think it's pushing more for them to kind of figure out how they can kind of segue themselves into the door of the black woman, because I'm looking at all these commercials that they have coming out now with all these interracial commercials. I've been seeing a lot of that lately. Every once in a while, but as I told you before, there was this magazine. I don't think the magazine is still in business now, but it was called Interracial Magazine, and where they were promoting. This is about survival for white people, where they were promoting interracial relationship. And part of the article where I attended this lecture, where they talked about melanin, where they said it would be better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. Because see, even if you look at the people who are identified as so-called Jews, they operate from that Kemetic standpoint, where they're no, technically they don't. But I mean, they're supposed to operate whereby they say, to be Jewish, you got to your mother has to be Jewish. But it doesn't matter, because they just need numbers, so they really don't care. So they don't do that. But I'm looking to see if that possibly could be a part of their strategy as well, trying to lure. That's when they start saying stuff like, "Yeah, look at how these white corporations, they extended all this money out to these black women, and look at how they're doing there." And then they see these commercials, and sometimes they use subliminal messaging within commercials, like, you know what, this may not be that bad. It was a white guy that gave me this loan to get this business going, and I'm looking at this. You know what? She might be saying, "Biff may not be that. Let me go call Biff." But I'm gonna tell you, like there was this sister. She decided to cross over to the other side of the fence. Said that she had gotten tired of black men. And I tell you, she got on the other side of the fence, and it was a disaster. This white boy that she was fooling around with, and she said that he had took the towel in the bathroom and cleaned his butt with it after he got up off the toilet. Now I said, black men don't do stuff like that. She quickly jumped back on the black side of the fence. So I mean, I mean, we can look at this, and I mean, there's like quite a number of different ways in which we can look at this. But I do think that we have to also consider that this may be part of their roots to convince black people to, procreate with them, because as we know, their birth rates are in the toilet, and the second thing, they need melanin to survive. And the one way you get that is you go to the best source possible, and that best source is black people, specifically black women. And I'll land with that.
All right. Thank you, Original. My thing is this right here, that black women need capital for their businesses. So I'm saying this, go ahead and get the capital, and try to get more. And I like to see black women be more vocal even about the capital they get. And like you had JP Morgan Chase, they included Latino women in terms of the actual getting the money or whatever. I know sometimes you're gonna have to split things up, and you're gonna have to with other minority groups or whatever, but there's nothing wrong with black women getting this money. I want them to get this money, and it is a finesse. Everything in this country is a finesse, but you just got to go ahead and play the game with these people as well too. You want to finesse, you want to play a game, okay, we'll play along with you. We'll get your money. My thing is this right here, is that black men, if we're really talking about repairing the black community, you can't leave out. You rarely see any of these articles talking about, we're going to go ahead and black owned businesses that the black men own. We're going to go ahead and we're going to fund them, and we're going to give them grants, and we're going to give them interest-free loans, and we're going to do this and do that. They never, ever, 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 ever mention black men. And what I'm saying, that black men and black women are going to have to stand together, and black women are going to have to be like, hey, you know what? We appreciate you guys going ahead, giving us this money and this and that for our businesses. We need it. Because we're the only group that they play these games with. But you know what? Black men also need to be able to secure financing, and black men also need to be able to have access to capital and everything else as well too. So we're going to need you guys to go ahead. It's great that you're doing this for us as well, and don't stop doing this for us as well too. But go ahead and add our black men up in this actual and this funding as well too, because they need it. Go ahead and give them grants and give them coaching and mentorship and everything else that you're doing for us, but not only that, but you need to increase it for both of us. So what you're doing is okay right now, but it needs to be increased by about 100-fold. And you also need to include black men up in this as well too. If we're talking about really, really lifting the community up, that's the only way we can do that. So, that's the only, let me read a question real quick. T says, why aren't the many millionaire black men in the U.S. not supporting black women to help black women so other groups of black men don't have to? So T, can you go ahead and provide that black men aren't doing anything to help? Because last thing I remember, the black men, the richest black man in America went ahead, and that class that graduated a few years ago, he paid off everybody's debts and stuff like that. So we can't just sit up here and make a bold statement. You don't know how many black millionaire men have helping black women or not. So until you can actually prove that. You don't know if LeBron James or Magic Johnson, you don't know if any of these black men, these millionaires that we know, or some of these billionaires, if they're providing scholarship and funding to black women as well too. So to sit up here and make a blanketed statement like that black men aren't supporting that, and we're going with that right now, that black men aren't supporting black women. So please go ahead and provide these sources that black men are not doing anything. Go ahead, Trouble. They said, no, he paid off only black men's debt. He excluded black women. So no black man in the history of this country has ever done anything for black women, you're saying? Some of these institutions that are founded, that black women got scholarships from and everything else, were founded by black men. You're saying that no black man has ever done anything for black women? Please. Go ahead, Trouble.
Hey, everybody. Toter, DJ, Ray, Professor, no taxation, black up in the cut, everybody else, black fresh up in the house. Shout out to everybody in the group. So I was slightly didn't know if I was going to come up in the space tonight, because I didn't know if it was going to turn into one of those black woman versus black men type of situations. But I was glad Sister Lenegris spoke first and spoke truth to power. Shout out, DJ. she pretty much stated everything that I wanted to state it, but I think I want us to always keep in mind whose system, whose kingdom we are living up under. If you don't understand how white supremacy works, you're not going to understand anything else. I don't like it when we say, well, black women need to do A, B, and C, because this isn't an initiative that was created by black women for black women. And as Lenegris said, these initiatives have that trick bag language, which means that they aren't necessarily going to black American women. And when they do, it's crumbs. I think for the most part, us black women, us black American women, we recognize that we need our black men to do certain things. But you're talking about corporations. How many people in these spaces or on Twitter do you actually think these business loans are being invested into? They're not being invested into us. This was the wrong crowd. This is the wrong crowd. The system wasn't designed to help either one of us out. It just wasn't. And so the only way that this could turn into a black man versus black women when we're getting money type of situation is if the black man gets into his feelings with the black woman and say, well, why aren't you advocating for me? Because the last time I checked, we advocated for each other, always have. We're not the ones that go into these corporations and asking these corporations for money. They're deciding to do that on their own. And I would like to see the people who they're actually giving these little business loans and these grants and these monies to, because I can never more believe they're not us. They're not us. They're everybody but us. There's some who look like us. Because you look like us don't mean that you're us. And we have to remember, in the height of the pandemic, when they came out, all of these corporations was quicked up to holler about DEI programs and initiatives that they have started, and the majority of these corporations have backtracked on it or have incomplete to do what they said they were going to do. They called Spotify out, I think, just a week or so ago about it. And someone who was running Spotify said, well, yeah, that's what we said we're going to do, but we just haven't had, the time, and our priorities have changed. Our priorities have changed. Your priorities never change, Muggs. You never wanted to prioritize us. It just sounded good. It was just a feel-good moment. It was just a reason that y'all needed to have us create spaces online so that we could be mad at each other. So there's one time I heard my brother say, well, and I've heard this saying throughout a lot, even without the spaces, that if you feed a black woman, you feed a nation. And we can't let that money thing come in between us, because if you give a black woman money, who's she giving it to? She's giving it to her black man. If she's a black American woman, there's never been a time when I didn't get a nice little stack coming through and I didn't break homie off something proper. There's never been a time when he didn't get a nice little stack that come through he wasn't expecting, and the first thing he didn't do was holler at me about them hoops and put some hoops in my pocket, put some hoops in my account. That's what we do for each other. This should never become a situation between the sexes when it comes to black American people, because we already know this ain't for us, it ain't by us, it ain't for us. This ain't boo-boo. And I know some other people got some things to say, so I'm gonna go ahead and land on that. But I just feel like to a certain degree, we can't get caught up in the trick bag of why they're doing stuff for black women and not for black men. And yeah, you could say we should advocate for our black men, but that's sort of like the when they say, what's the saying when they say you don't look a gift horse in the mouth? That's what some people are gonna do. They're gonna take that money, and if you go up there to get that money and say, well, what about black men? What you gonna give them? Well, you want this money or you don't, so you get that money, and then you make waves with it. then you make sure that it trickle down to the black man. You lift him up at the same damn time. But the people, if we're honest about it, our news media, when we look at our news media, people who we could have out there advocating for us, they're not us. Our voices are just not there on a public level that could wake this shit up. I mean, I wish it was, because if it was black Americans who was on code, I just say it like that, who was on code, because, you know, some of us up there, but it ain't the ones that's on code, it's the ones who, you know, gonna kiss that white ass, you know, then we wouldn't even have these situations, because they know when it comes to voting, they need to be soliciting the black male vote. When it comes to this money, putting the money into the hands of people who can make shit happen, they need to put it in the black man's team. And they specifically not doing that for a reason. And at the same time, they're not giving it to us black American women who are on fucking code either. And I'll land with that.
All right. Thank you, Trouble. I'm going to have to say I'm going to have to disagree with some of that, what you said. I do believe this is a trick bag. And I do believe that, you know, you can't lick a gift horse in the mouth. But there's nothing preventing any of these black women, once they do get that check in their hands, to go ahead and say, you know what, we appreciate this and thank you, but our community needs real repair. And to go ahead and repair it, we need to be repaired as a whole. That half of the people getting the money, that businesses, because black women aren't the only ones in the actual black community that have business. Like I said, I believe black men have just as much, if not more, businesses as black women. So if we really want to go ahead and rise as a people, we're going to need black men to get funded as well, too. And I know this is corporate America, but we have a mouth. We can say something. We can go ahead and say what we think we think cash should be allotted to black men. We can say that we see these programs that they're creating for black girls rock, black sister this, black sister that. Well, hell, I got sons. I think that they're just as important as a black girl. So I think if you're gonna pump millions of dollars into little black girls, and this is not to down black girls, because they need programs, go ahead and keep putting money into the programs of black girls. But at the same time, like I say, if you're truly trying to elevate the black community, you're gonna need black men and black boys to rise up as well too. So if black girls rock, then black boys got to rock as well too. And if we not putting money to them, then people wonder why when they get a damn smash and grab, and you see fellas out there selling dope and this and that, and they hopeless and this and that. There's no industry in the black communities. The first person that's going to be going to jail are going to be those little black boys turning up to be black men. So we got to go ahead, if we're going to try to fix stuff, we got to make sure that black men have a leg to stand on. That means we're going to have to get funding. We're going to have programs. We're going to have mentorship. We're going to have training. We're going to have all of this stuff that we want to go ahead and we want to spend money on black girls. We're going to have to do it with black boys as well, too. And we're going to also have to go ahead and provide, just like we want to provide their mothers resources and tangibles. Well, we're going to have to go ahead and do the same thing for their fathers as well, too, if we are to rise as a people. So you're right. I would never tell any black woman not to get that bag. And like you're right, sister, if she wants to split it up with her husband, damn right. Husband, go ahead and split it up with your wife as well, too. But we can call corporate America out. We have called them out before. We need to keep calling them out. Get that money. Make sure you get that money first before you go ahead and call them out. Make sure you get that money and make sure that check don't bounce. And go ahead and put it in the bank. And once you get it, you let them know, you say, thank you, we appreciate it. But at the same time, you bring attention to the black men that are being left out. You see, this country, they want to frame this narrative of all these other people being left out and this and that or whatever. Like I say, you see more brothers on Skid Row than you see anybody else in the black community. You see more brothers out there, addicts and everything else on the damn street corners. So we got to go ahead and we got to make sure we get our men cleaned up as well, too, so they can be functional in society. Because the men ain't shit, then the whole community is going to be going down. Volvo, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Yeah, what's going on, my brother? Appreciate you letting me speak tonight. I just want to say it is programs out there, minority programs. I know this for a fact because I got a CDL through a minority program. The school was $7,000. I only had $2,000, and they paid the other $5,000. So I know that for a fact. I'm not sure. I don't think that this is a finesse. I just think that these people may be kind of misinformed. I mean, because like when I look at a finesse or a divide, is what the government did to us when they were incentivizing, when they were giving out the low income housing, but the men can't be in the house, and if they find any men clothing in the house, any men items in the house, then you lose your Section 8 apartment or your housing voucher. Now that was creating a divide. I feel as though if you want to help the black community, yeah, you should give grants and programs to the black family. It should be a program to where if you produce a marriage license and y'all are married and y'all are struggling married couple, you should qualify for certain programs that can't nobody else get just because y'all are married.
Well, what about
because y'all trying to bring back the nuclear family? Y'all have a nuclear family. I think that will help the black community more.
Not to cut you off, Vovo, but what about the black businesses as well too? Like, what if you have somebody that's a young black person that's in college that come out and they have a black business or whatever, and it's a great idea, and it's profitable. Shouldn't they be able to get funding as well too? Be it a black male, a black woman?
Yeah, I was about to get to that.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I was about to say, I see things like for us, if you're in college, I feel as though you need to mainly focus on what you're doing, what you're trying to accomplish, because that's the skill you're trying to get to further your life. You know what I mean? But like I was saying, they should incentivize the nuclear family. When I see like these young girls have a baby at 17, 18, and then all of a sudden they qualify for all these free house, free utilities, free food, free all that. You're supposed to do that. You're supposed to do that in a first world country. But the college student got to take out a loan to get an apartment. The college student don't qualify for food stamps, don't qualify for any welfare, any aid. That don't make sense to me. You're going to incentivize a single mother that got pregnant at 17, 18 years old, but you won't incentivize this college student that's going to college, doing the right thing, that's going to be the future doctor, future accountant, future whatever of America. That never made sense to me. That's the person that needs to have the free apartment with the welfare and the food stamps and the bus tickets or whatever they're giving out. That needs to be the person that needs to get that. As far as you saying the black business, there is black business grants. There is there's stuff like that. But I feel as though if we start in a family, right? Eventually, most families want to start a business. But you might be struggling. She might not got a good job. You might not got a good job. But if we can take the pressure off, not having to pay rent for 3 years or 5 years, or something like that, then we can save the extra money and put it into a business. So I believe that if you really want to rebuild the black community, it should start with incentivizing the nuclear family. I appreciate you letting me speak, brother.
Okay, I'm gonna get to you, Trouble, real quick. And what you said, Vovo, I agree partially with. There's nothing wrong with giving incentives for family because they try to do that with taxes and stuff like that. A person that's single, they're gonna get taxed more than the person that's married and with kids and stuff like that. So we know that's the issue. But also, we can't sit here and you have somebody in college because we've had, I believe, Steve Jobs and some of these people that had these astronomical companies and stuff. They created them while they were in college. Some of these people end up leaving college to go ahead and launch their business. So we can't say that, you're in college and you're in college and you should focus on your degree. But here's the thing. If you come up with something that's going to make you a million times over the money that you're going to get with your degree, and people say, you know what, I've come up with this invention, or I've come up with this program, or I've come up with whatever, and I'm going to get ready to leave because this thing is it. We should go ahead and champion that as well, too. Also, there are a lot of people that create businesses before they even actually get married. So the thing of this is, we're talking about corporate dollars, and we're talking about a lot of these grants. And you're right, there are grants for black business, but let's be for real. Black businesses, whether it be black male or black female, are sorely underfunded, big time. You don't have the kind of money, the kind of capital with black businesses getting grants and stuff like that you have with these white companies or even some of these other minority-owned businesses. So, in terms of the actual dollars that's coming our way, we see the very, very few of it compared to these other groups and these other organizations. So, I don't have an issue with anybody that's a young black man, black woman, they're in college and they got something and he's like, you know what? Why can't you? I mean, you could do two things at once. Maybe they have a a business that's not going to take away from their actual education, their studying and stuff like that. We shouldn't go ahead and say, well, you can't do this or that, whatever. We should go ahead and support them. Like, yeah, go ahead and allow them to get the funding or whatever as well too. Like I say, you have a lot of single black men and black women that come up with businesses every day that's not married. So I don't think we should say, well, this should only be for married people and this and that. Yeah, if you want to do an incentive for go ahead and giving money to people to go ahead and basically, like you say, create families and get married and this and that, that's cool. But I'm just saying that's a little bit different still. So we shouldn't take away the actual funding that black businesses, because we need funding for black businesses. Yeah, we need money for everything pretty much, but we need money for black businesses. Trouble go.
Let me say this though, just one real quick thing. Most people don't go to college to drop out of our business.
No, I'm not saying most, but I'm saying there have been cases where you had some of these tech people. I don't know if it was Bill Gates or Steve Jobs and them or Steve. I mean, there have been these people that have been in college. You're right. Not most people don't, but there have been people that have been in college and they came up with these monster companies and they end up leaving and going and starting these companies and not finishing. But I'm just saying though. I'm just saying even Amazon. What's the name? Bezos. Didn't he create that in his garage? I'm just saying we can't. We're talking about black people too. Black people come up with things that other groups don't come up with, man. So black people are creative. It's a reason that they came up with 50 some odd thousand inventions. And how much money do they really get from those inventions that they came up with?
Yeah, but I mean, okay, brother.
Trouble, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Yeah, it wasn't just a Steve Jobs thing. I know several black men who went to college and came out of college because they were solicited by high-powered companies. A few young brothers that I grew up with, one came out of his first year of college because Boeing wanted him because he had these extraordinary skills. Another young brother, I went from elementary, middle school, and high school with Reggie. Reggie was always a nerdy kid, but he was great he always drew rockets and stuff like that. Before Reggie could go into college, he went to work for NASA because he was always in the science fairs and stuff. So NASA came and got him straight out of high school. I heard that he turned around and they put him in school to gain other skills after a few years working with the company. But stuff like that happens all the time. And now from what I understand, he has his own tech companies and stuff like that. So it does happen for our people. It might be a rarity, but it does happen. In my city, and I'm pretty sure, and it may be in other states as well. They have this thing called this group called 100 Black Men, where they took 100 black single fathers or black men who were fathers and incentivized them by giving them basically a universal basic income every month. I think it was $500 to $1,000 or something like that, to see how that would go. And that wasn't something that was given to black women. So there's programs like that. Out in Texas, what they're doing now is they have a bill on the floor that just passed, I think, one house and waiting to pass another, that is incentivizing families with children. So you have to be a married couple, and for each kid over 4 kids, they'll give you a 10% cut up to 100% tax cut. So if you have 10 kids, you could get 100% tax-free living in the state of Texas now. So if you have a family, you're married, you have 4 kids, you get 40% off of your state taxes who's a what's it, and it goes up per kid. So um, to a certain degree, we all know that a lot of times when they have these programs, you're going to have a lot of white and even in the state of Texas, Hispanic families. Hispanics don't take advantage of that money because, they got 20 people in their houses, so I don't know. But there's that. I remember when I was real active in my community meetings. I've slacked off, but I need to start continuing to go back again. Um, they wanted me to head up their youth program, and I should have took advantage of it when they first asked me. But I just kind of wanted to ease into it a little bit before I, just came in taking over stuff. But they specifically asked me to come and do their girls that code and work with the people they had coming in with that. And so I'd ask them, because I'm a mother with 4 boys. I don't have girls, I have boys. What programs do you all have, or are you gearing towards our youth, our young men? Because when I look outside my door, I see a few girls here and there walking constantly with nothing to damn do. But it's mostly the young boys on this block, the teenagers that's constantly up and down the block throwing rocks at cars. They ain't got shit to do, so they just really just messing with shit the whole time. So those are the ones in my mind that needs the most programs geared towards. And there was, a few women in there, older women, who was upset because I brought up the thing about the boys. And that's something that I brought to the table, and I brought the fact that they're always walking up and down the block doing shit, breaking into the houses that are, that no one lives in or whatever, just doing shit. And so they was like, well, their focus is this, and if they had enough black men who would step up to the plate and head these programs up, it wouldn't be a problem. But they tried it in the past before, and they tried to get a lot of black men to come in and mentor and do certain things, but they wouldn't do it. So that leads me to say that we need our black men to not be in your feelings, but to recognize what it is us women recognize and begin to start stepping up. We need our black men to start forming coalitions to where you can get, because now it's about solutions. So we need our black men to start providing solutions. And the solution isn't to say, black women, you need to speak up for us, because we do. We need our black men to start making their voices more heard. However you got to do it. We need you to start forming organizations. Because when you form organizations, that's how you get your notoriety. That's how you get your voices heard. Start stepping up into the community and doing so. And that's not to say that you don't, because I know a lot of black men who do. But there are organizations surrounding. You're talking about individual men who do things. And that's all well and good because it's needed. But we need more black male-led organizations who can step up and put the word out and let these motherfuckers know that you are here. You're paying attention. You're well aware of what the hell is going on, so that they cannot continue to ignore you, because they're going to ignore us all day long because they want us to be their pawns. So they're just like, white people don't have respect for women. Period. That's why there's the song, it's a man's world. They respect other men. They are fearful of the black man. The black men I just feel like my brothers need to make their voices heard on a grander level than what we've been seeing. I see more women-led organizations than I see male organizations advocating for yourselves, advocating for your people, advocating for your community. I see a lot of my brothers out here are the ones who step up and do all of the neighborhood cleaning up and stuff like that. But we need more of you all to take more interest in your boys on a grander level. And that's all I wanted to say.
All right, DJ, you got it. Go ahead and unmute your mic.
Yeah, I'd just like to say I think we kind of getting off topic a little bit. So this is about investing in the black business, not so much programs, any of that stuff y'all talking trouble involved. So when we talking black business, first of all, ask yourself, do you even got a tax ID? You see what I'm saying? Those that do have a tax ID or some type of EIN number, we be looking for this type of funding and looking for information surrounding business itself. You know, how can I scale my business more? How even if you are starting out, how can I start a business? One thing you all right about, well, those programs are out there, but you know the one thing that I've been coming across, I've been dealing with a lot of Karens, yo. A lot of them that are just in position to just put an X on the loan application. You see what I'm saying? So if we get off our tails and start studying things that pertain to business, we will start seeing that these things like, you know, strictly funding for black women, we could start having a more of a vocal voice in trouble. But if black men have no desire to start a business, and keep in mind, 80% of all businesses are small businesses, but we're still talking about a small percentage of people who own those businesses. So majority of us ain't even thinking about that, because when I talk black business to black people, they ain't got no initiative to try to start a business. They worried about getting up and go to work 5 in the morning. Nothing wrong with that, because we need to work at these, but we're the ones that want to be entrepreneurs. We don't have that in our community, unfortunately. So if y'all want to start to learn how to build your own business, and before I even say anything on that, what you could do for those that say, well, you know, I don't got a product, I ain't planning on starting a business or anything like that, don't worry about that. Still go get a tax ID and put everything that's in your name in your business name. You know, the car, the house, the phone bill. You know what I'm saying? Start generating credit around your business. You don't generate credit around your social security number like you would with an EIN number. It ain't the same thing. It's a different type of money, a different type of tax bracket. So with that being said, go get yourself an EIN number, and at least this way, if you don't want to do business, you can at least get a discount from another business, a business discount, and that would save you hella money. Simple shit, you know what I mean? That's the coupon thug mentality right there. So for those that are trying to start a business, you could go to the SBA.gov, SBA.gov, Small Business Administration.gov, whatever. And they got all types of information for you to start a business. You can just go on there right now, look around, hey, put a business plan together. You know, you're a minority, colored person, woman, you know what I mean, transgender, they got all that stuff up there. But, you know, I understand a lot of our folks feel like, well, you know, they ain't gonna give it to us, but it ain't no different from the lottery. You gotta be in it to win it. You know what I'm saying? You don't know unless you try. You won't get an answer unless you ask questions. So if you got an idea for a business, it may not even be something new. You might want to open up your own grease monkey shop and start fixing cars and shit, because you're really good at that. You know, and the whole neighborhood already come to you. So if you could convert that over into a business, you could get funded for that. Real shit. Especially if the statistics states that it ain't too many mechanics in your neighborhood that are black, or just in general, you could get funded for that. Don't matter if you have you're a former felon. As long as you done served your time and did your thing, you can go get funded for that. So this is the type of shit that I'll be looking at and should be trying to focus on. But the one, you know, obviously back to the talking point, investing millions into black women but not black men, that's all my life. You know what I'm saying? I've been seeing that. So it's not new to me and shit. I've been seeing that. It's just like it ain't nowhere a black man can turn out here in this world if we really needed some help. We get turned down at every level. You know what I mean? Especially even more so when we have a good idea or the information is great. They turn it down even more because, damn, who the fuck is this nigga to come up with this idea? That's how these white folks be treating us, man. But not yo there, yo.
But here's the
DJ, I wasn't off topic. That's really what I was leading to, or what I had meant when I said that black men need to form organizations. It's not so much about the program, but when you have organizations, strong organizations, then you could advocate for the business loans or wake it up into the public knowledge that they've been ignoring you as black men. You know, really, that's what I'm talking about right there.
But here's the thing that I want to say real quick is that you have a bunch of black business. Like I said, and I have to try to find that stat, but I believe you have just as many, if not more, black businesses as you, black male-owned businesses as you do black female. So my thing is that the money that's actually coming out there, you know, black men are being ignored. You know, when they're giving out these grants, be it from the corporate or a state, or federally funded, or a private sector, or whatever, black men are being passed over. So my thing is that, hey, yeah, I get what everybody's saying. That, yeah, go ahead and create more organizations and this and that or whatever. Nothing wrong with that. And I get what you're saying, DJ, too, about forming the actual business and starting a business. But my thing is, what about the black men that already have businesses out there right now? They're not getting the actual type of funding that they need. They're being passed over. They're being ignored. So my thing is, how can black men that already have businesses out there, how can they get the actual funding? Because, I mean, we can't just say, and I'm sure some of them may not apply for grants, and I'm sure some of them do. So how can they get the actual funding? Because they're not, you don't see these articles, you don't see any of these corporate America, anything like that, trying to go ahead and break black men off with anything. Now, one thing we do see is that a lot of times, and we're seeing it politically, and we're seeing it now in business wise, that, we start hearing the stuff about, well, we're going to do this for black women. We're going to do that for black women. And we're like, fine, go ahead and do it for black women. All we're saying is that, hey, there's also another group of people in the black community they call black men. So how can they get some of that? A lot of times, even when we look at the politics and stuff like that, and it comes to voting and this and that, black men contributions are totally swept underneath the rug. You would think that no black man ever voted for a Democrat in the past 10 years or whatever. They totally just get ignored. Anytime voting come up, well, we like to thank black women. If it hadn't been for black women, yeah, man, do you not know like 80-some-odd% of black men was voting for Democrats? Let's not sit up here and ignore that. Behind black women, black men are the second most loyal voting bloc in this country to the Democratic Party. So let's not sit up here and just ignore everything that they're doing. And I'm talking about in terms of the actual, these corporations, and I'm talking about these grants and this and that, like they're picking and choosing who they want to actually invest with. They're like, well, you know what? We really don't want to do anything for black men. We really don't want to work for them and this and that or whatever. This country has never, they've invested in all kind of different groups in this country. They have never invested in black men. The only time that this country's ever invested in black men is if we're talking about collegiate sports or something. Let's go ahead and let's build up the football roster. Let's build up the basketball roster. Let's go ahead and let's get us a practice indoor football facility. Let's see how we can bring in some of these top 100 ESPN recruits and this and that. Whatever. That's the only time they want to invest in black men. If it's something in terms of athletics or maybe entertainment, that's it. But when it comes to business, anything or training, anything of that purpose, they stay clear of black men. So I'm just saying right here, and I know, and I mean, and I really don't see an issue with a black woman saying, you know what, yeah, definitely, I definitely think you guys should go ahead because and when you get a chance, go ahead and try to invest in black business as well too. So we're not trying to make it into a man versus female competition, anything like that, but I really don't see the issue if a black woman say, you know what, you guys this year you've invested X amount of dollars into black women owned businesses. We feel like we also need to get our community to close a racial gap that which all of these companies, these corporations claim that they want to close a racial gap. Well, let me tell you something. The racial gap can't get closed by just investing in black men, and the racial gap can't get closed just investing in black women. The only way the racial gap is going to get closed is investing in both of them. Now, if one of them is getting invested into more and significantly more, then I don't really see the issue with that one group saying, you know what, we think we appreciate everything that you're doing, but for us to really go ahead as a people, for everything that we face, we think that our brothers who have maybe just as many businesses or more than us, we need to go ahead and get them some funding as well too. Go ahead, Vovo.
I didn't mean to be off topic. I didn't really wasn't sure. I hear other speakers mention programs and shit like that, so I was just putting that in. But I'm a small business owner. I have a very, very small business. I make $205 every Saturday, and I make like after I pay for gas and all that breakdowns and all that, I probably make $7,000-8,000 a year. So I know about I had an EIN number ever since I was 18. Trade name, I'm registered with the state of Ohio and everything. So you know what I mean? Like I know about business. The best way to get funding, because I've been failing at business ever since I was 18. I've got several failed businesses that I'm proud to say that I'm not proud that they failed, but I'm proud that I tried. that I've been trying. You know, I done did everything from landscaping, landscaping business. Right now, how I make the $205 every Saturday. I don't want to put my business out there too much, but I got a small transportation business, and I carry a load across town every Saturday. You know, I done had landscaping businesses, all types of shit. I even got a PPP loan to get. In order to get a PPP loan, you would have had to already had an established business. You couldn't have just started it like right. Oh no, they're giving out money. No, you had to have it already established. You know what I mean? So I even had a PPP loan forgiven because I had business history. You know what I mean? So in order to get funding from any bank, the best way to get funding is to show the bank that you're doing business, to show the bank that you're making money. That'll be the best way to get funding. The best way to get funding is to show the bank that you have a valuable business, that you're making money. The bank is in the business of making money. That's all banks do is handle money. So if they see that you making money, you know what I mean? They don't mind giving you a loan. Matter of fact, they're gonna be knocking down your door trying to call you. Hey, how you doing, Mr. Bovo? We just wanted to check and see if you needed a $10,000 line of credit. All right, we're here. We're ready. We're waiting on you. We want to see if you want to get that other piece of equipment or open up that other location. We're waiting on you. So the best way to really get funding for a business is to show the bank, is to look attractive to the bank, to show the bank if the bank see that you got this business account and this business account is doing numbers, there's money flowing in every day, every week, every month. You got a history. You know what I mean? You got a history of making money, so of course they will want to fund your business, wouldn't you? So you know, I land there. I just wanted to put that in there. I wasn't trying to be off topic.
Oh no, you good. I mean, sometimes it happens, people, you know, but I understand exactly what you're saying. Real quick, y'all, in the Jumbotron, we have the Newstoter YouTube channel. It is up there somewhere. It's a lot of stuff up there, so I'm not even sure where it's at. But guys, get a chance to go in the actual Jumbotron and the YouTube channel. I'm gonna go ahead and I think I tweet it back in there. Let me see. Okay, it's on the far left-hand side, so I did just put it back up in there. So please go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel. We've been getting people to actually go ahead and subscribe while the space has been going, which has been a big help. So if you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, please go ahead and subscribe. Also, up in the Jumbotron is a Cash App, $Newstoter, $Newstoter. Newstoter is the largest Black-owned, Black American-owned news media curation platform today in America. Once again, Newstoter is the largest Black-owned, Black American media news curation platform today in America. That is $Newstoter, $Newstoter. If you do not have a Cash App, we have the Venmo and PayPal up in the Jumbotron as well. Go ahead, Trouble. Unmute your mic.
Okay, I'm gonna be real quick because I gotta ride out of town. Also, y'all, don't forget that it is Support Your Black Media Month, and so get up in the Jumbotron and hit your Black people up. Also, don't forget to go to Newstoter's website, spend some time on it, newstoter.com.
Hey, that's a nice little ad Trouble giving me.
You know what I'm saying? I'll be on Newstoter site, messing around, going from the entertainment spot to the news spot to all of the spots, reading up, because everything on his website comes from other Black media. So that's one way that you can show some support.
Now, we do have a couple of our curators that curate from mainstream media as well, too, just to put that out there as well.
Yeah, but we're going to focus on the Black folks.
Oh, yeah, I'm with you on that, though.
But listen, us Black women, it would be wonderful if we had the power to make these corporations do what they've never wanted to do, but we don't. And that's just the ugly truth. I know we want, and we should, because like I keep saying, we do try to advocate for our brothers, but we got to know at this point in time, like someone just said, these corporations and the government and have never really wanted to recognize what it is that Black men do, especially, and I mentioned that earlier, and Newstoter just expounded upon that, even when it comes to voting. black men overwhelmingly give their votes to the Democratic Party, but they're never recognized for that. If anything, they're chastised in the media when 2 or 3, 4, 5, 6, 7% goes and vote for the Republicans, rather than recognizing that the overwhelming majority have always voted for a Democrat, at least up until a certain point in time in history anyhow. So with that in mind, it's the same thing when it comes to this money. They have always done their best to overlook black men and to make black women, to a certain degree, their proxies in this, pseudo war that they're fighting with us, because it's not black men and black women who are warring with each other. This is a proxy war that's being fought in the background with these white folks trying to infiltrate our communities to throw shit up to keep us at each other's necks, while the invisible demon is standing right there making shit happen. So while it would be nice to say, okay, well, black women, we need to advocate for our brothers and tell these corporations we do not have that type of power. We have never had that type of power. We are never going to have that type of power. At this point in time, whatever black woman, and if you're a black American woman, you get that bag, you be lucky if you get that damn bag. You know what I'm saying? You take that bag and you make that motherfucker count. That's what you do, and you make sure that you bring your black brothers up with you. If you're lucky enough to get enough money to do it, because at a certain point in time, and this might just be it, they are not even going to be swinging money towards the black American woman. They're going to be swinging money towards all of these other groups that they now deem to be more important. We have states coming up on the rise that are slowly allowing immigrants or non-citizens to vote in their elections. They're going to be incentivizing them that way. They're going to be throwing money their way. Now, I don't see a lot of black businesses popping up. There's a lot of black businesses in my community, but the majority of the ones that I see popping up right about now is other groups of people. They not us. So they incentivizing them. The women, the black women, and a few black men in my community that I speak to on a regular basis, because when I got it, I make sure I go and let them get some of it. When we sit there and hold these type of conversations, they didn't get them PPP loans. They were turned down for them. But Abdul was able to get one. There was another man from Pakistan or wherever the hell he was from, but I forgot where he told me he was from. Me and him used to talk all the time. He'd gotten a PPP loan, and he hadn't been out here in the community as long as all of these other businesses had been in. And what happened a few months later, his business burned down. I believe that was some inside stuff, but it is what it is. Haven't heard from him again, but he was the only one of his race of Indian Arabs or whatever people who really acted like he was one of us in the community. So I was sad really to see him go, because out of all of the other ones, he's the only one that is not going to cheat you out your money, have respect for you. He gave all of our people work. He let all of our people set up on his property to sell their stuff, in several months. And he'd been in business for about 10 years. But after he got his loan, shortly after that, his business burnt down. And so they're not giving it to us. Us black women don't have the kind of power to say, look, corporations, thank you for the money, but this is what we need to do for black. I'm coming. This is what we need to do for, our black men. I wish we did. We just don't have that kind of power. They barely want to give it to us. I'll land on that because this boy back behind my head looking.
All right, thank you, Travel DJ. Shout out to you. Thank you for the Cash App as well too. Let's go ahead and DJ, your hand is up, Professor. I hadn't heard anything from you tonight, so I guess you just chilling right now. But go ahead, DJ, you got it.
Professor, just writing down what we're talking about. Yeah, SBA, EDC. You know what I'm saying? Go get this money. You know what I'm saying? Word up, trying to be a broke motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, we all agree on what we're saying. But when we talking about those programs, that's just some other shit. The business side of this shit is a whole nother ball game, yo. And it's a hard ass ball game too, yo. Because I wish I would have started doing this shit when I told myself when I was younger. And that way I don't have to suffer now, learning the tricks of the trades and trying to talk to people and yada 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 that way. So again, just on the educational purpose of it, ain't no need to talk about anything else. We all talking about agree to disagree for the most part, agree to agree, like I said. So look for an EDC in your neighborhood, state, town, county, wherever you may be at. I live in New Jersey, Essex County, Newark, so I want to look for an EDC like that. Economic Development Corporation. Economic Development Corporation. Most likely look for one in a white neighborhood. And the reason why I'm going to say that, the EDCs that are in the hood are most likely job training facilities and not actual connections to the SBA. So this is how they also do our people too. They'll put the EDC for job training in the hood, but give the white neighborhoods the EDC training for the business. See that? We ain't even being taught this on a regular scale. We got to go outside our neighborhood in order to find this type of information. Well, when the NACA get the info, like you said, coming to break bread with the shit. So EDC, Economic Development Corporation in your neighborhood, they are a subsidiary branch to the SBA, Small Business Administration. You could most likely go to the SBA.gov as well to find an EDC in your neighborhood, and as well as when you do find an EDC, it will connect you back to the SBA.gov. So long as you got a product, a physical one, most likely you're going to get a loan from somebody somewhere. You just got to keep applying yourself. It'll eventually come. You know what I'm saying? Yes, I understand they do our people dirty. Like I said, a lot of the folks I've been having to talk to and network with and go through is unfortunately these Karens. They make it hard, especially when you're talking black shit to them and they don't understand it. Same thing with some of our other folks that might be in these positions of power where you might have to speak to them and say, hey, look, I'm doing reparations or whatever. They automatically throw your application in the trash. I done seen shit like that happen. So it ain't no shock to me, shit, but it may be a shock to you when you get the nigga wake up moment, when you're trying to go for your loan. Keep it real and shit, and you learning the game. Other thing is, too, since the pandemic hit, black people done started so many businesses. There have been more business created since the pandemic than ever in history, yo. So it ain't no time but the present time to go incorporate yourself. Not just yourself, incorporate your kids from the moment they come out the womb. Incorporate them into a business. I don't care what you call a business, just do it, pay the taxes on it, and keep grounded on that shit. So when they do turn 18, they can decide for themselves if they want to continue to run a business that you created over 18 years, for 20 years, or go to college, go to school, and still have that business because they will have money to do whatever the hell they want to do. Same thing with these insurances. Got to start playing the insurance game. That's a business. You know what I'm saying? So if you know any black insurers, tell them to call me. I got a fucking idea. You know what I'm saying? It's really illmatic right now. You know what I mean? And I don't want to give it to the WPIs, but I ain't got no choice because some of those type of entities don't exist either, because even some of the black insurers, they are just subsidiary agents to the white conglomerate. So I might as well go to the WPI and fucking talk to them about whatever it is I need to. Or hopefully I could get a black staff and I don't have to worry about shit else. But that's down the line. Again, EDC, Economic Development Corporation in your neighborhood, they have all types of programs, even for those that have former felons. You could go get a loan through them if you have a legitimate business and have been doing business. And they have all types of classes, resources for free. Don't have to pay anything. You just got to show up. That's it. But I yield there. I see other people want to talk.
Okay, real quick. I see.
That one right there that said, "Hold my dick." Yeah, that person out of him.
Hey, hold on, man. Real quick. Let me see a gay pride agenda. Did you have something you wanted to say, man? Gay pride. Did you came up here to speak? Did you have something that you wanted to offer to the conversation tonight? Going once, going twice. Gay pride. Did you have something you want to go ahead and offer before I drop you down? Okay. I haven't heard you say anything, so let me go ahead and remove you from the speaker. Let me get Black Pressure up here. Y'all know people come up here and they want to speak, man. I'm willing to go ahead and give people a chance or whatever. Let them come up here and speak. I saw.
But that shit was hold my dick. No slow-mo.
Oh man. Hey, Black Pressure, go ahead and unmute your mic, man. What's up tonight?
Hey, what's up, fam? Hey, man, you see this whole shit, this gay black pride dude putting in the jumbotron?
Oh shit, he came up and put some gay shit up
This
here.
is some some gay stuff.
Oh Lord, let me go ahead and ban. Hey,
That's bad, man.
Hey, go ahead and kick.
I don't know if y'all see it.
No, I let me go ahead and
Bastard spamming the jumbotron. We weren't even focused, man. You know what I'm saying?
He came up here for some. The boy came up here. I just blocked him. He came up here on some boy shit right here tonight, boy. God damn, erase this shit up out of here, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, because of Sugar Fairy for real.
That just go to show you can't be nice to people nowadays, boy. God damn. You got it, Pressure. You want to say something?
No, that's all I wanted to say. I came in. That was the first thing I saw. I'm like, no, news not putting this in there.
Hell no. Like I didn't even know that till you. I didn't even know that till you said that. Like the hell. Like, he done put all this shit up in here. Like God damn. Like
That's exactly why I don't like them pink fairies coming up in here. You know, I hate to see
damn.
it. And then on top of that, your name is Oh My Dick. What kind of shit is that?
Yeah, he done put all this shit up in here. Like God damn. I'm trying to erase it right now. Like,
hey, cuz like really stop it for all this shit.
yeah, he just bombarded the shit. Like, God damn, how much of this he put up in here?
Hey y'all do know with him doing shit like that hurts the space. See, they'll bash the space.
I mean,
Hey, Tyler, make somebody co-host.
Hey, Professor, I'm gonna make you the co-host because I know Ray be
help us get this shit out the jumbo.
Yeah, Professor, I'm gonna make you the co-host so you can go ahead and get this because I'm up here doing it like it done mess the show up. So like, yeah, like
it's getting there. It's just it just go easy. We have a third wheel. You know what I mean?
Yeah, this dude, Professor, I sent you the co-host. Okay, go ahead and start erasing this shit up out of here, man.
Oh my God,
this Joker.
Oh my God.
And don't even look at. I see. Don't even look at it, cause like, I mean, this Joker on some.
You swallow that shit. You ain't graduate from HBCU.
That's what I'm saying. You can't be nice. You can't be nice to some people, boy. They come up in here.
You know why he did. You know why he did that. I can tell you why. Friday, his personal physician told him that the HIV medicine doesn't work anymore. It's full blown now. He probably got 90 days to live. That's probably why he's doing that shit.
What in the world? Yeah, man. Y'all get this shit up out of the jumbotron here, man. This joke ain't had nothing else.
Hey, man.
Yeah, this Joker straight Fruit Loop here. God damn. Oh my Lord. That just knocked my. I mean, he just bum rushed it. Like, God. Like, damn. I blocked this fool, but like, damn, man. Let me go ahead and get back. Anyways, man. Go ahead.
You know that's TS. You know that's TS.
Go ahead and handle that, man, while we try to get back. I see no taxation coming up here. Professor DJ, y'all go ahead and handle that. Let's see. No taxation. Did you want to speak? We need to try to clear our mind from this right here. Good Lord. Thanks.
Hey,
hold on, sister. I was gonna say smoke some weed if you gotta forget it.
No, I ain't gonna go over there. Look, my eyes don't. I don't take everything into my orifices. I know some people do. They take it in every hole in their body. That'll never be my style. So I don't have a problem. But I will say this regarding that this is the time of year. Occupy Press said something on Twitter. I don't know if it was today or yesterday. Occupy Press said that, this is what it looks like because this is a campaign year. It looks even like that. What you all just got spammed with. We used to get horribly spammed every 4 years on here during the presidential election year. And porn was one of the biggest spams that we got. It's far less today than it was in the past, but it's still here. And you do have to be careful, news, because what these people do now is they got very sophisticated. What they do now is put that shit up there and then have somebody go or do it themselves on another account reporting. And so they're trying to shut you down. That's what it is.
and you can't let that happen. Having said that, um, I'm with Trouble. Trouble said, she said it in a nutshell. Let's not pretend that white folks haven't been trying to break up the black family and have broken up the black family since the time we got here. That's the name of the game. I keep telling people the battle in this country is the white man versus the black man, and he will use any tool in the toolbox he has to make that happen, to make his demise happen, and including the black woman. But Trouble is right. What we do, and historically what we've always done, was go get the money and bring it home. That's what we do, because black folks work, men and women, we work as a team, whether you're married or not married, whether you're in business together or not in business together. That's just historically what we've always done, so we know the game. But I want to read you all something, because she often very, very, very important. I want to read, and this came from a friend of mine today on a text. Let me let's see here. I'm gonna tell you, this is just in Washington, D.C., not Virginia, not Maryland, not Delaware, just Washington, D.C. Black Women for Positive Change, Capital Women's Investment Network, D.C. Federation of Democratic Women, which is comprised of the D.C. Democratic Women's Club, the Metropolitan Women's Democratic Club, the National Federation of Democratic Women, the National Women's Political Caucus, the United Democratic Women, and the Women's National Democratic Club. That's about 10 organizations of women Democrats. And you got to understand, when you talk about Democrats, all of them ain't black, right? Just the ones that said black. But this is what it is. And if we didn't get a clue from mass incarceration of black people, how can we be surprised today that they funneling money to black women? We can't. That was the game all along, was to prop up the black woman and get rid of the black man. And they did it through various ways. The worst of it for me, that I believe, in my opinion, because I worked in a men's medium maximum correctional facility and I saw what it was mass incarceration. And at that time, when I worked in the prison, South, and because of Clinton's 3-strike law, South Alabama prison population, the male prisons rose 888%, the highest in the nation. And so we got to understand this is part of the game. And I'm like Newstoter too. Black women, go get your bag, but get the bag and bring it home. See, don't get the bag and leave the men, because they want the demise of the black family. And the only way they're going to get that is the demise of the black man. And so that's been the game all along. So let's not pretend that that's not what they're doing when they throw money at us. That's exactly what they do. Also, Newstoter made a very valid point. That's chump change. And we shouldn't be falling for those things. We need to set our sights higher. And, we need to play the same game everybody else is playing, which is extracting from the federal government and not giving to the federal government. That's the game. And I'm gonna leave it there. Y'all take that stuff down. So
yeah, we took that crap down. Like I said, and Professor was right. Like I was trying to be nice and be diplomatic and let people come up here and what, like, try to let people come on up here and say what they want to say or whatever. But this dude's whole point was just come up here and troll and put this crap up in here. But no taxation, you right. Like I said before, that is chump change. You're not talking about giving black women $100,000 to fund their business or whatever like that, or $50,000 either, or $75,000. But for the most part, what they're talking about is chump change. But I will say, anytime you can get money and you don't have to pay it back, go ahead and get it. So even if it's $5, 10, 15, $20,000, go ahead and get it and put it towards your actual business and make it work for you. So my thing is just like I said, I see the game they playing. And I see that they're also trying to use, once again, another way of weaponizing black women against black men. And that's why I say too, not only about it just in terms of just letting them know, like, hey, you need to go ahead and support black men, but that's also signaling to them as well too. You get a black woman to get up there and say, you know what? I appreciate everything that y'all doing. We definitely need more in this and that. But at the same time, don't forget my husband. Don't forget my boyfriend. Don't forget my fiance. Don't forget my son. Don't forget my nephew, my cousin, my uncle, my granddaddy, my next door neighbor. Put it out there as only black women could. Get their attention. Let them know that, hey, what you're doing it is okay, but it ain't not nearly enough. We need you to go ahead and do more. We need you to really kick it in the way you do for Hispanics, the way you do for other white people, the way you do for any and everybody else, Asians and everybody else in this country. We need you to go ahead and do it as well for the men who built this damn country up. Go ahead and open your wallets and go ahead and get a black man some of this money as well too. And don't take the money from us to give it to them. No, this is our money right here. Go ahead and give them their own separate allotment. So don't take the money from us to talk about we got to split it up amongst us. No, give them their own allotment like you do everybody else.
Right. Well, let me add this too, Newstoter, because we got to look at things holistically. The same time mass incarceration was in full effect, they were also dismantling every single set aside money that the black men in business were getting. So it's no accident. And they turning everything over to their donors, their mate, and Goldman Sachs runs DC, quiet as it's kept. That's K Street. That's lobbying street. And Goldman Sachs weighs in on every piece of legislation that has to do with money in this country. Let's not kid ourselves who Goldman Sachs is. And, they set the black man up for economic failure. And so this is why we fight every day, because you are absolutely correct. They're not trying to do anything for black men, businessmen, especially in this country, because they know, like everybody else knows, that if y'all get a hold of any money, you're going to outdo them. You do it every time. And so that's their biggest fear. They don't want to be outdone economically, and the black man does it all the time. Very rarely will you see a black woman that has made it to the distinction of some of the black men, most of the black men in this country that have made it. You just don't see it, and that's for a reason. And I'm going to leave it there.
All right. Thank you, my sister. Once again, y'all, if you can, please go ahead and donate to Newstoter on Cash App, $Newstoter, $Newstoter. If you don't have a Cash App, the Venmo and PayPal is up in the Jumbotron as well, too. So we definitely need donations to go ahead and try to keep this site up and going, keep the content flowing. We don't have ads and everything else on the site. So donations is what keeps Newstoter afloat. So once again, that is $Newstoter, $Newstoter. Remember, Newstoter is the largest black-owned news curation platform today in America. And the content, as Trouble said earlier, is coming from black-owned websites as well, too. So we definitely need the funding of our people to go ahead and keep everything rolling. So if you guys can, $Newstoter. Once again, $Newstoter. We got my girl, Miss Giselle, up here. Miss Giselle, how you doing tonight?
Hey guys, yes, I am happy. What is this, Monday night?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So I was coming up because I really believe that in this case they expect us, because there's so many people in code. I think they're using this as a way to test the waters. They got to test the temperature of us. Are we heavily against our men? Did they get us to where they want us to be? If so, they could proceed to the next step. Or are we with our men? So we'll be rejecting whatever they have coming. They always got something to back it up. What I don't think they would expect is for us to do what white women do with the minority money. And that is build it with our men. And I think we need, with them, I don't think they are looking at us in a way where they really expect black women to get a minority business, put the business under their name, but it's really their husband's business. They don't expect that. It's not something that's been happening like it used to back in the day. More so, people are more like independent, and it's like women doing their own thing and running their own businesses. So I think we should take the money and then hook our men up and then keep it going, and then still ask for stuff for them, because then they'll be like, wait a minute, well, we can't do this because of this and that. They're not gonna have an excuse not to give Black men anything because they didn't have anything exclusively for them. And that gives us, we can do what they use their systems against them. Because when their women saw that piece was cut out, they didn't reject getting the money. You know what? They took it and they started filtering it back into their white family and their white power structure. We're expected to reject it and say, no, we stand on justice. These people don't stand on justice. They don't stand on anything. They don't even care how they win. I say, let's take all that shit. And they'll be like, men didn't get anything. We need to make sure they get something. And they're going to be looking, because they're going to say, wait a minute, but these men are thriving. No, they work for my business, even though the men is running the business. And they can't say, well, we think they run the business. Are you assuming that they run the business? Or why would you assume that? You're not giving them anything. So we kind of need to start using their tools against them, because the whole standing on justice never work with us. We're going to stand until we don't have no money coming out of their pocket. Then we still end up fighting, and then we're all at the bottom and broke as hell. All I'm saying is take all that shit, and I'll land.
And what you saying, Ms. Giselle, that's kind of what Volvo was saying too, in a certain sense. Well, you got family working together and having a business, so that would definitely work well if you got a husband and wife. And let's be honest, when they did the affirmative action and these white women started getting these contracts, we know who was actually the head of these actual businesses and whatnot. They got the funding, giving it to the wives, and the husbands was the ones controlling the show, running the show, and the money stayed in the hands of white people, namely white men. So the whole grift with the civil rights movement was, how can we get ourselves back in position to go ahead and get control of this money? And that's exactly what they did. They had their white wives as the front men, while they were the ones actually in the background calling the shots, running the show, and everything else like that. So that's a great idea as well too, Ms. Giselle. And that's something like Volvo, he kind of mentioned that to a certain degree with Black families and stuff. I know he was saying, incentivize in terms of like building and being together, whatever, but you can still have that family-owned business the same way as well too. So that's something we definitely need to go ahead and look into as well.
Right, but you know what, Tyler? Keep in mind, a lot of these Black males, and I ain't even gonna say Black males, a lot of people, and I can speak specifically for here in Baltimore. I've been talking to a lot of business owners lately, and these business owners have to get a hookup with a Jewish person to get access to certain type of properties. All right, you got to have a Jewish friend. It's like you got to check in to get access. Why? Like in this case, even if they're not a husband and wife, my family businesses are cool, but this is why we need to start rebuilding community. It's people that sit with friends that are really building good stuff, people that's trustworthy, of course. But like these, if it's women that gotta come through, we're like, hey, these combinations, we have to get back to that point, where we're actually using this system, like just how it is when Black males, they're not related to these Jewish folks. They're like, hey, can I get, can you hook me up with this, get me this property? They show up and they get the property stuff. We can do the same thing as a collective. It's not only like a family thing, it's an everybody thing. As long as you like somebody that's like somebody you could trust with business arrangements like that.
Yeah, that's real talk, that Miss Giselle. That makes a lot of sense as well too. Volvo, go ahead and unmute your mic.
I just want to say, they have historically sabotaged the men because they understand that men. I'm not trying to be offensive to the women, but men. This is a man's world. Men build empire. Women don't really build empire. I'm not trying to be offensive or talk down to women, but historically, men have always built empires. They want to
they want to sabotage the men because you might get a situation like a Tyler Perry. Like Tyler Perry built himself up. Now he don't have to go to Hollywood for nothing. He's separate from Hollywood. He's got Tyler Perry Studio. You know what I mean? It's Hollywood Productions that come to him to film at Tyler Perry Studios now. He's got everything that he needs to be totally independent from Hollywood. Down there in Atlanta, he can shoot whatever he wants. He's got the cameras, he's got the money, he's got the know-how, he's got the knowledge, he's got the actors, he's got the space. He can shoot whatever he wants in Tyler Perry Studio. You know what I mean? Men, we don't. It's just our nature. We don't want to be subservient or under other men. So you know what I mean? Like if you let the black man do his thing, he's going to naturally separate. You know what I mean? Naturally. Even though we might be on a financial system, we're going to look to separate and build our own thing. You know that was the thing with the Rosewoods and the Black Wall Streets and all that. You know they had to come in and burn down the businesses. They had to burn down the empire. Those thriving black towns. Ain't no telling where they would be right now. You know what I mean? They wanted to come in and burn down the wealth. You know what I mean? They wanted to sabotage the business. That was the main thing. They wanted to destroy that. So, you know, it's always been that's always been the number one way of sabotaging the black man is to take away his ability to do business. I appreciate you letting me speak.
No problem. Professor, I ain't heard you tonight. You didn't want to add anything in? I know you've been pretty quiet. Normally Original was up here early, but Original he dropped down to listening. But I know you and Original, y'all normally add some stuff in, but he came up earlier. But I know you've been pretty quiet tonight, Professor. You want to chime in or nothing?
Yeah, I'm gonna chime in. I've been just sitting back listening to everybody else, man. You know, sometimes I will do that every now and then. Not often, but every now and then I sit back and be quiet. But I will say this: women, go get the money, as Newstoter has said. Y'all go get the bag, but just remember, take the bag back to your communities so we can build up these communities. That's really the only thing I have to say about it. I do believe that in regards to this program that Goldman Sachs is trying to sell, as I would put it, they're trying to sell it or market it to black women. I just kind of believe it's a divisive. They're trying to divide the black community, the black family. That's what it is. That's what it comes down to. I don't see anything else to this except that's what they're doing. It's white supremacy at work. I think they're really just trying to do what they can to keep us from being a unified family. But we have to be smart. We have to move strategically. That is, black women, when you get this money, you take it back to your community, to your families, to the men, and we build. And we continue, and y'all go, like Sister Giselle said, y'all go get more. That's the only thing you can do. I mean, we know what white supremacy does in this country, y'all. They move in all kinds of ways to make sure that we don't go above them. And that's what this is all about, y'all, is to keep us at the bottom so we can't go above them. They don't want to see black people in general move above them. So they got to come up with ways to try to keep us out of being at the top. That's what it's all about. White supremacy is threatened by dark-skinned, melanated black Americans. That is because we are that one group that will go toe-to-toe with them. If we can get the same equal amount of money and the same equal education, the same health care, if we can get all of that equality as we have spoken about so much in this nation, Black Americans will be way ahead of them because we are a very creative, very intelligent group. But as the white man always tries to do, they always try to find ways to make sure that we don't go above them. Okay? And I suspect that was one of them that was up in here earlier with that name hold my dick.
Oh yeah. I'm trying to get this dude. I'm trying to get that out of my mind, man. This dude just came and he just ruined the energy of the space. I swear he did.
Yeah, that was one of them. See, that's what they do, man. They come up in our spaces and they try to do things to disrupt our talking points, to disrupt our unity. This is what white supremacy does. So this is why I don't like to see them come up in the spaces, because they're going to disrupt what we're trying to do. And I'm all about kicking them on out when I see them.
Yeah, you was right. You was right tonight, Professor. You was right tonight. God damn, you was right. Oh Lord.
Hey, one thing I know about the brothers up in this space, man, we men. And you come up in here with some shit about hold my dick, you ain't gonna last long over here. You got to get up out of here. Yeah. So, but that's all I have to say, family. And peace, power, and reparations 2023, reparations rally 2023. Everybody, this is our time. This is our moment. We might have to lose some folks to get what we want, but we're gonna get it. We know what's coming in this country. The climate of the country is at an all-time high, as what they're trying to do to us. And but I think our people are on to everything that these folks are doing. We are on to everything they're trying to do to us. I land my plane right there.
All right, Ray, you got it. I see you got your hand up. Go ahead and unmute your mic.
I'll be real quick. I was just gonna add on top of what Professor said. So yeah, they'll come into the room, they'll put all that nasty stuff in the jumbotron, and then they'll go report the stage like we're the ones, promote that type of art. I just wanted to add that in too. And before the space is over, I just wanted to ask you about something not related to the space. It's about Freaknik, because I was gonna ask you what was your opinion on the fact that they're about to release a document on Freaknik, I think like 94, 95. And I want to ask you if you think they're going to use this movie special to paint Black men as being predators, rapists.
Say that part again, because I heard you say something about Freeman, but you was kind of low. I couldn't hear all what you were saying, Ray.
Yeah, I didn't hear you either, Ray.
Yeah, now I was just going to ask, do you think they're releasing this so they can turn around and paint Black men as being rapists? Obviously, there's a lot of men up there.
Oh, okay. I thought you said Freeman. I'm like, Freeman. I'm like, what? Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of hard to say, man, but we're gonna have a special space tomorrow, and we got a Wednesday night. I want everybody to come through because we're gonna have a space about the gentleman Chaz Bunch that's in prison right now. I think Chaz been in prison since 16. His actual representative, Minister Ali, is gonna come through. She's gonna be coming in Wednesday night, and we're gonna be discussing that situation as well. So you guys make sure you check that space out. Tomorrow night, we're gonna have a surprise space as well too. Without giving it away, I'm gonna just say we're gonna have a surprise. It's gonna be a little bit different, a little different topic than what we normally cover up in here. So I'll go ahead and I'll release that sometime tomorrow, the actual space or whatever. But yeah, Wednesday night is gonna be we're gonna have an interview with Chaz Bunch, actual representative, people that's defending him, trying to get him released from prison. So you get to hear his story. He's been in prison, I think, since I think he was convicted back in 2001, and he's been in there ever since he was 16 years of age. So everybody, make sure you guys come out and check that space out Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we got a couple spaces. Tomorrow is going to be definitely different than what we normally do. So like I say, around about in the afternoon tomorrow sometime, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to release that space or whatever. But yeah, y'all just go ahead and I definitely want everybody that can come up in here Wednesday night just to hear the actual story of what's going on with Chaz Bunch. He was convicted of rape and some other things as well too, without really getting up into it. And his DNA evidence says that he wasn't the DNA evidence wasn't found at the actual scene of the crime. So yeah, we just I'm gonna go ahead and let his representative actually like inform everybody and just tell you the story exactly what's going on. So I want everybody to check it out. I've already tweeted out the space. I'm going to tweet it out again just leading up to it. So you guys definitely make sure you go ahead and you check that space out as well too. I'm going to be talking to the representative tomorrow just to nail down some of the last details exactly how the space is going to go. So I like I said, without getting into it too much, because I just DJ actually found him on Facebook, and we've been communicating here and there, and actually finally really got in touch with him the other day. So we got in touch with Miss Ali the other day. So we're definitely going to have that space going on. So guys, definitely Wednesday night, go ahead and definitely come to that space and just hear the actual situation, the story, and everything that's going on with this case as well too. They're trying to get him released and everything else from prison. So originally I believe he was sentenced to like something like 98 years, and then they dropped it down to 49, and so it's just an ongoing situation. But definitely come out Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to hear that actual story as well too. So, like I said, we're gonna let his representative go ahead and pretty much just share with you the situation, the story, the updates, and everything that's going on with him right now at this point in time. If that's nothing, if anybody else wants to add something real quick, not, we're gonna go ahead and close the space down for tonight. And like I said, we will be back tomorrow. What a space with a different theme tomorrow night. A space that's gonna be a little bit different than what we said. And I definitely I'll tweet it out as well, guys. So y'all definitely when you see it, you're like, okay, well, yeah. And, this was a good space tonight as well, too. Like I said, we wasn't trying to start no gender war. We just wanted to go ahead and have that dialogue, that conversation. Respect to our sisters out there that's getting that money. Like I say, continue to get that money. Continue to try to get even more of that money. Like I said, the brothers, we trying to get that bag as well, too. So we definitely know it's not easy. I can tell you just from having a site and not getting much love from the social, from Google and Yahoo and on the social media sites as well too. We know about the shadow ban is very much real out here in the field, y'all. So nobody's making it up. They not only shadow ban you on social media, but they shadow ban your ass on the search engines as well too, when they feel you have a certain type of site and content as well too. So that's what I'm saying. We definitely got to go ahead and support when we can. I know it's not the easiest thing always, but like I say, every little bit of support, just visiting the site, tweeting out the content, liking, sharing the different social media platforms, following us on different social media platforms. If you got a Facebook a profile, follow Newstoter on Facebook. Even though I ain't been using Facebook, I ain't gonna lie, I ain't been using Facebook that much lately, but still Instagram, all of those. We got to support us as much as possible, man, so we can go ahead and get the content out there because, on Twitter, we pushing it out, but we need to get more of our people on Twitter to actually go to the site daily and visit. It's free to go ahead and visit the site. Like I said, you ain't got to hang out that long. I know nobody wants to be off of Twitter too long, but you can go and spend a minute a day on a Black-owned content platform and then come back to these WPI institutes. It's not gonna kill you. So we definitely ask our people to support us as much as possible. On that note, guys, we're not going to hold you.
Can I add one thing before you close out?
Go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to say it's off topic though, but I just want to say, y'all, we really, as Black people, we really need to pay attention to the shit that's going on over there with China, Taiwan, all that. That's very important. We need to pay attention to what these BRICS nations is doing, coming together, trying to take the world off the dollar. I don't really see too many spaces, like especially not Black folks, talking about this shit. Like this is serious. This is a volatile time. This is really, really serious. So I just want to just say, like, I just want to just put that in the atmosphere. If you catch a news, if you catch an article or if you catch a news segment, just take a look at it, even if you ain't into that, because this shit will affect you as well. Appreciate you, brother.
No problem, bro. As always, appreciate having you up in the space, Volvo. Go ahead, DJ.
Yeah, that definitely ties into what we're talking about tonight as far as like economic shit goes. Excuse me. Yeah, if these BRICS nations they come together, I'm not sure if y'all for those that draw, have y'all noticed how the gas has jumped from like it was like a steady $2.95-ish, $3 in that area, and it just wound up jumping 5 cents, 10 cents. It's back up to like $3.50 nationally or more. So it's a problem, man.
Yeah, I definitely see a problem with this, y'all. We all need to be focused on this. Anytime there's something going on in international news, and you might say, well, I don't care about international news. No, don't look at it like that. International news is very important because it is going to impact us over in America, including us Black Americans, because, you know, everything seems to roll downhill on us. But we also know how to survive. Now, with that being said, pay attention to everything that you see going on in this country too. Even though you say, well, it's not happening in my state, doesn't matter. It's still gonna roll down here from somewhere. So all these train derailments that we hearing about, and all these damn trucks and shit that's blowing up, and houses blowing up, and factories blowing up, power grids blowing up. You got to know, folks, that this shit is being planned. It was in a book that I read years ago, y'all. White supremacists. They plan this type of stuff. But we'll say that for another space in due time. But I just want y'all to understand we have to pay attention to everything that goes on in the news.
Yeah, we definitely be covering some of the y'all know I don't mind covering the international stuff. So we definitely it's just about our people, you know, because we don't mind covering stuff that's international because we know international stuff impacts us as well too. So we've covered Ukraine, we've covered Russia, we covered even when China was putting the stations, the police stations over here in New York. We've covered a bunch of different things, Uganda and the LGBTQ thing. So we've covered a number of things, you know, that wasn't actually I guess you could say just U.S. news. We've covered world news as well too, and we'll continue to do that because, you know, no matter what, we live in America, we live in the United States of America, but we also live in this world as well too. So we have to be aware of what's going on in the world as well too, because it does impact us. It does affect our lives over here in America. So we definitely want to.
Can I add one last thing? I promise you, brother. I know you want to close out, if you don't mind.
Yeah, normally like when I'm flowing, I really don't like anybody to interrupt. But go ahead. I got you. Go ahead.
Oh no, I wasn't trying to
No, you got it. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to say if this BRICS thing go off, we ain't gonna have to worry about no reparations. We ain't gonna have to worry about no investing in money in nothing, because all this shit, as life as we know it, is gonna crash. So that I just want to say that the American dollar gonna be worthless. That's what they trying to do. So you know, if they don't end up fighting a war about it and they just accept it, the dollar gonna be worthless. All right, brother. I appreciate them. I just want to just get that in there.
It's damn near getting to that point right now. The dollar done lost so much value over the last 50 years. So it's damn near getting to the point where it about ain't worth the quarter now. So if it drops any further, I don't know what we're gonna do, but we definitely we definitely have to go ahead and hold a space on that as well too, y'all. So we'll definitely keep everybody informed. Like I said, this week I know we got a couple different spaces that we're going to be having this week as well too. So everybody just make sure y'all come up in here. Tomorrow's going to be a different feel, a different space, and Wednesday definitely with the actual representative of Chad's brunch up in here. It'll be definitely a different space, a different feel as well too. So let me just give a shout out to everybody, the co-hosts, the speakers, the listeners. This was a good space again tonight, guys. Thank you for everybody that participated and commented. Thank you for all you guys who shared the space in the room out tonight. Everything was going fine until you had the Fruit Loop dude come up in here and start cutting the food. But you know, it is what it is. This is Twitter, so you got to kind of vet these people a little bit more. So we'll definitely be, from here on out, we'll definitely be a little bit more cautious of who we bring up to speak, because you know, a bunch of people coming here with different profiles. And like, I know this person's a troll. Let me hear. And I knew the person was a troll, but I thought they was going to actually get on the microphone and say something. I didn't know the Joker was sitting up here just bombing away until Black Pressure came up here. I didn't know the Joker was sitting up here bombing away in the actual Jumbotron. Go ahead, DJ.
Yeah, I'm gonna start a space, yo. All right. Follow me.
All right. So let me go ahead and end this space tonight, guys. We'll see you tomorrow night. Everybody be safe, peace. And tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern time, we'll have another space, another topic that should be a pretty good convo. So everybody come through.
Come on over to BJ Space, everybody.
You already knows. You already knows.